The Glassblower of Windmere Hollow. Shoo. Gently now. Let your body sink into softness. Let your breath become slow and easy. There's no need to do anything right now. You're safe. You're calm. And you're here. The world outside can wait. You're in a quiet space now, a space just for you. As you inhale, feel the cool, night air drifting softly into your lungs. And as you exhale, feel a sense of warmth spread through your chest. Like the soft glow of a hearth fire in a cozy cottage. Tonight, we're going somewhere old. Somewhere hidden. Somewhere peaceful. Just let your imagination guide you. Let it take your hand, like an old friend. And follow the sound of my voice. Because our story tonight sets sail just past the edge of memory. In a quiet little valley tucked beneath the arms of sleeping hills. Our story begins. In the village of Windmere Hollow. The sun had long since slipped behind the velvet hills. But the last of its amber glow still lingered like warm honey. Across the treetops. A cobblestone path winds softly through this valley. Curving gently like a ribbon tied around the earth. Tiny homes with moss-covered roofs dot the landscape. Chimneys puffing slow, sleepy sighs of smoke into the twilight sky. At the very edge of this village. Where the trees gather a little closer. And the wind seems to whisper with ancient stories. There stands a round little cottage. With a crooked weather vane. And panes of glass that shimmer like dragonfly wings. Inside, behind thick oak doors. Worn smooth by the hands of time. Lives a man named Eldric. The Glassblower. He's neither young nor old. His hair touched by frost. His hands calloused with care. His eyes, they shine. Not with fire, but with wonder. And every evening, just as the village settles in for sleep, Eldric lights his hearth. And begins his secret, sacred work. Can you hear it? The low hush of the bellows. The soft wheeze as he feeds the flames. Can you feel the warmth? Creeping through the floorboards. Wrapping gently around your toes. The fire begins to crackle. Not loudly. But with the quiet language of old things waking. Orange embers dance like fireflies. As Eldric lowers his blowing pipe. Into the molten pool of glowing glass. Thick, syrupy. Golden as sunlight. Alive. In the Middle Ages, they believed glass held memory. That it could trap the very breath of the one who shaped it. Some said it captured sunlight. Others, illness. They believed a window could keep away plague. That a bauble by the bed could protect your dreams. Eldric believes too. Not in magic. But in care. Each orb he blows is not just made. But listened to. Coaxed into shape like a lullaby with breath. The blowing pipe rises. And at the end of it, a small bubble appears. Quivering. Perfect. He turns it slowly. Breathes again. A long, steady stream. Like the wind through a hollow reed. The glass expands. Smooth and round. Pale blue like the winter sky. With tongs wrapped in soft cloth. He snips the edge. Twirls it once more. And sets it gently upon a wool-lined cradle to cool. Beside him, dozens of baubles rest. Each one cradling a different light. Some rose-tinted. Some pale amber. Some so clear. You'd think they were spun from mist. Outside, a nightingale calls once. Then settles into silence. The village sleeps. And so, Eldric hums softly to himself. An old tune, no words. Just the shape of comfort. He doesn't speak much. But the glass listens. In medieval times, Glassblowing was more than craft. It was reverence. Glass was rare, precious. Only nobles could afford windows. Villagers used oiled parchment or horn instead. But here in Windmere Hollow, Eldric made glass not for wealth, but for light. He believed, as some did long ago, that light was a kind of healing. That warm light, filtered through soft color, could soothe sadness, ward off fever, even tame nightmares. So he made orbs for newborns, globes for widows, lanterns for bards passing through. He once made a tiny green marble for a boy who couldn't sleep. Told him it held the forest's hush. And the boy never feared the dark again. Let yourself drift now. Drift like the sparks from Eldric's fire. Rising up, up, into the wood-beamed ceiling. Let your breath mirror his. Slow, warm, steady. Feel the weight of the day lifting. As if drawn into one of those glowing spheres. Sealed up, tucked away. Outside, a breeze stirs the ivy that climbs along the glassblower's walls. It rustles softly, like pages turning, like feathers brushing against stone. Inside, the workshop glows. Not bright. Just enough. Enough to show that someone is awake. Someone is tending to light. So that others may rest. Eldric moves with care, placing his tools in velvet-lined drawers. He wipes the soot from his sleeves. Sips warm mulled cider from a clay mug that fits perfectly in his palm. He does not rush. He does not strain. The night, like his glass, is shaped with patience. Tomorrow, a merchant will arrive, asking for a globe the size of a plum. Tomorrow, a little girl will bring a ribbon to tie around a marble meant for her sick grandmother. But tonight, there is only the hush. Only the soft clink of finished orbs, nestled into their cradles. And the gentle breath of a fire, beginning to dim. Just let yourself rest here a while. In this warmth. In this silence. Where light is born. And sleep drifts gently near. Let your body feel even heavier now. As if your bones are slowly becoming part of the bed. No effort. No tension. Only warmth. With every word I speak, feel yourself falling just a little further into stillness. You are safe. You are far from worry. And there is nothing at all to hold on to, except this peaceful quiet. We're still in Windmere Hollow. The night has deepened, but the fire still glows softly. And Eldric, the gentle glassblower, is preparing something special. At the far end of his workshop, behind a shelf of glimmering orbs, stands a cabinet no one has opened in years. The wood is aged, almost black, with curling carvings like vines, and a small iron keyhole shaped like a crescent moon. Eldric reaches into a drawer and draws out a key strung on a faded red thread. He hasn't used this one since the spring, when the snow melted too slowly, and the birds returned late. The cabinet creaks open to reveal a velvet-lined tray, and upon it, a sphere of deep cobalt blue. Not quite an orb. Not a lantern. But a looking-glass. Blown decades ago. Under a rare full moon. When the winds carried salt all the way from the southern sea. Eldric lifts it carefully, cradling it in both hands. It glimmers. Not from within, but as if holding reflections of things that haven't yet happened. Can you see it? A ball of ocean sky, shot through with ribbons of silver, like veins of lightning frozen in glass. He places it gently on the center table. lit from beneath by a hearth ember tucked into a cradle of ashwood. And then he waits. For what? Even he isn't sure. But old glass sometimes speaks. It shifts. It stirs. It remembers. In medieval Europe, there were whispers of memory glass. Spheres not for windows, nor for light, but for remembering what the heart could not hold. Glassblowers in Bohemia and Florence sometimes crafted whisper globes, believing that breath blown into molten silica could carry a thought, a wish, a name, into the glass forever. If you listened closely at night, they said, you might hear a voice calling your own. Not a ghost. Not a spirit. But a memory. So soft. So old. It had no shape except sound. Eldric breathes slowly. He does not expect to hear anything. But he enjoys the silence. The listening. Outside, the wind tickles the shutters. A distant owl calls out once, then fades. Inside, the only sound is the occasional creak of old beams, and the soft settling of warm glass on cool cloth. The orb remains still. But he watches it anyway. Not for magic, but for stillness. Sometimes, he says softly to himself, the glass doesn't speak, but it listens. And that is enough. The candle stubs are nearly burned down now. Just small flickers. Like stars above a dreaming world. Eldric begins to tidy his space. One brush at a time. One cloth folded. Tools placed gently where they belong. As he moves, he hums a tune so old. No one remembers its words. It's not a sad tune. Just soft. Like a lullaby you heard once. From a voice you loved. Long, long ago. He brushes a thumb across the blue orb. And smiles faintly. Its surface is cool now. Smooth as river stone. It has said nothing. But he feels lighter. Like he, too, has been heard. There is something soothing about this little world. The way the fire sighs. The way the air smells faintly of warm clay and lavender oil. The way the orbs, each one, catch the light and offer it back gently, as if reluctant to let it go. You can imagine the shelves lined with these small globes, each one labeled in Eldric's tiny script. Sunset by the river bend. Lily light. Snowstorm from the east. Each one, a captured moment. Each one, a piece of the quiet world. He believes that peace can be saved. Stored. Shared. Held. And he's right. You can feel it now. In your own chest. That calm. That warmth. A little like glass cooling after fire. Tomorrow, Eldric will rise early. He'll walk to the market with a basket full of light. He'll sell his pieces not for gold, but for stories. Tell me a dream, he'll say. Give me a memory, he'll ask. And in return, he'll give them a bauble to carry home. A talisman against sorrow. A bottle of color for rainy days. But for now, he kneels by the fire and closes his eyes. The coals have dimmed. The glass has cooled. And even the blue orb, strange, still, silent, seems to exhale. So we leave him here. Beneath the beams. Beside the light. Surrounded by orbs that glow like sleeping stars. And as you listen to the soft hush of that little cottage, you may feel your own breath beginning to slow. That's it. Slower now. Deeper. Warmer. Heavier. And softer still. There's nothing you need to hold on to. Nowhere else to be. Let your hands fall softly at your sides. Let your eyelids grow heavier. And as you exhale again, feel as though a soft weight, like a woolen blanket, settles across your chest. Peaceful. Comforting. Still. We're going to return now. Back to Eldric's cottage. Back to a little village where the stars glow just a bit closer. And time moves slower. It's morning in Windmere Hollow. A faint fog hugs the dewy grass. And sunlight, gentle, golden, pours through the crooked windows of Eldric's workshop. There's a kind of hush that still clings to the air. As if the village itself has only just awakened from a long, restful dream. Birdsong trickles in through a crack in the shutters. A soft breeze brings with it the scent of warmed pine and fresh earth. Eldric stretches by the hearth, his joints softly cracking, his breath fogging the window as he leans forward to peek out toward the square. Today is market day. He doesn't rush. No one does in Windmere Hollow. He packs a small satchel lined with sheepskin, nestles a dozen glass baubles inside, each one wrapped with gentle hands, in scraps of silk from old tapestries. As he does, he whispers the names of each piece, as though addressing old friends. First rain. Firelight laughter. Heron's flight. Mirth of May. Each one holds a moment. A feeling. A color too delicate to name. Eldric carries his satchel out the door. And as he walks, the bells on the ivy-covered gate ring once. A single, chiming note that fades into the hush of the morning mist. Down the cobbled lane he walks, his boots making soft taps like a slow heartbeat. The stone is still cool from the night. Tiny puddles reflect the sky. And flower petals, pink and white, float lazily on their surfaces. Neighbors nod. But no one speaks loudly. Not yet. The day has just begun to stretch. The village exhales together. At the square, wooden stalls unfold like old secrets. Barrels creak. Cloth is unfurled. The smell of honey bread and river fish blends with herbs and horses. And in the center of it all, Eldric lays out his glass. He doesn't cry out for customers. He doesn't barter or shout. Instead, a simple sign sits beside his wares. A memory for a light. People come slowly. One by one. Some children. Some elders. A few travelers wrapped in dusty cloaks. They kneel by Eldric's table. Lean in close. And speak in hushed voices. And for each of them, he listens. A woman tells him about her daughter's first steps. On a summer morning thick with bees and buttercups. Eldric hands her an orb of soft gold, twirled with streaks of ivory and rose. A boy, no older than 6, whispers about a dream he had, of flying over the sea on the back of a silver swan. He receives a marble the size of a plum. Its surface rippled like the ocean under moonlight. An old man speaks of his wife's final laugh beneath the apple tree on their last spring picnic. Eldric presses a globe into his hand. Deep green, with tiny flecks of red and white, like petals caught in wind. No coin is exchanged. Only memory. And light. In some medieval villages, there existed no currency. Barter was king. But beyond goods and grain, stories were traded like treasure. A tale told well could earn you bread. A poem could grant you shelter. And a secret, if sweet enough, might buy you a place by the fire. The bards knew this. The glassblowers knew this too. For glass is fragile. But stories are eternal. By mid-morning, Eldric's satchel is empty. And still he remains, sitting at his table, letting the sunlight warm his shoulders. A small girl sits beside him, kicking her heels, watching the light flicker through the last orb like a dancing candle flame. He asks her if she'd like to take it. She shakes her head. No. I just want to look. And so they sit together, watching, breathing, listening to the quiet world. The orb reflects their faces. Not in mirrors, but in light. And somewhere inside it, perhaps, another memory is forming. One of shared stillness, of soft silence, of warmth. By dusk, Eldric walks home. His bag light, his heart full. His cottage awaits, lit by the last pink glow of the sun that clings to the western hills. Before slipping beneath them, he pours warm tea, steeped with dried lemon balm and rose hips, and sits by the hearth, his boots unlaced, his eyes soft. The fire crackles, but not loudly, just enough. He sets a single candle on the sill beside the blue orb. It glows faintly now, not from within, but perhaps in answer. Breathe in slowly now, and feel your body grow even softer, even stiller, like a feather resting in the palm of night. There's no effort here, only the gentle rhythm of breath, of firelight flickering behind your closed eyes, and the hum of old stories being remembered, softly. In a world built for rest, you're still in Windmere Hollow, still wrapped in the hush of candlelight and pine smoke. And the story is not over yet. The stars have begun to appear. First one, then two, then a quiet scatter, like silver breadcrumbs across velvet. In Eldric's cottage, the workshop sleeps. The tools are polished. The hearth is down to glowing embers. But the blue orb is awake. Its surface pulses ever so faintly, like a heartbeat, or a breath. You can only see if you're very, very still. Eldric notices. He leans in closer. The candle by the window flickers. And then, softly, the orb hums. Not loudly. Not even musically. Just a note. Low. Round. Like the sound of a bell remembered from a dream. It's said in old tales, once passed down by herbalists and hearthwives, that some glass, if shaped in silence, will sing when the time is right. Not to everyone. Only to those who need to hear it. Eldric listens. He places a hand beside the orb, but does not touch it. Its glow dances over his palm, like the reflection of water beneath a bridge. And in his mind, a picture forms. Not a memory. Not quite a dream. But a place. A garden. Ancient and overgrown. Where night-blooming jasmine spills across old stones. And tiny glass chimes sway in the trees. It is not a place Eldric has seen. But it feels familiar. In the garden, a woman bends beside a stone bench. She hums the same tune Eldric hums while he works. Her hair is streaked with silver. Her hands are worn, but sure. She looks up and smiles. The image fades. The orb dims. And the room is silent once more. Eldric sits for a long time, eyes on the embers. He knows now what the orb remembered. The woman in the garden was his mother. Long gone, but not lost. She had once been a glassblower, too. Before the plague. Before the silence. She taught him with patience. With stories. With that same humming tune. Beneath the soft clink of cooling glass. He hadn't thought of her face in years. But the orb had. In the 14th century. The Black Death carved great silence through the world. Mothers vanished. Fathers. Children. Some said it was a punishment. Others, a mystery. But those who remained. The survivors. Learned to carry memory differently. In charms. In herbs. In stories. In glass. Artisans began placing glass globes in windows. Believing they could trap illness. Or reflect it back to the heavens. And those who shaped glass. Were seen as quiet healers. Eldric closes his eyes. He thinks of all the orbs he has made. The ones he gave to strangers. The ones still hanging in bedrooms. Above cradles. Beside old beds. He's never called himself a healer. He only listens. Shapes. Breathes. But perhaps. That is enough. Perhaps the warmth he leaves behind. Carries more than light. The hour grows late. The wind has quieted. Even the owls have gone still. Eldric rises. Drinks the last of his tea. Now cool and fragrant. He places the blue orb back in its cradle. This time covering it. With a square of soft wool embroidered with stars. He bows his head slightly. Not a prayer. Not quite. Just a gesture of thanks. To the glass. To the silence. To the night. To the night. Can you feel it? That hush? That sense that something ancient has passed near. Without disturbance? You're floating now. Your thoughts quiet. Your breath gentle. Like the glass. You are cooling. You are settling. You are safe. Let the story curl around you. Like steam from a warm hearth. Let your fingers soften. Your spine grow heavy. Your eyes flutter closed. We are almost home. Thank you for staying with me. Let's now complete our journey through Windmere Hollow. In this final, quiet chapter. Let your eyes rest. Your breath slow. You've been walking gently. Through a quiet world. Of glass and hush. Of firelight and memory. Now the story draws to a close. Like a lamp being slowly dimmed. Or a lullaby ending on its final note. There's nothing to do. But listen. And drift. As we return. One last time. To Eldric's little cottage. At the edge of Windmere Hollow. It is morning again. But something is different. The air is crisper. A gentle breeze carries a trace of wood smoke and damp leaves. Autumn has arrived. The forest outside is turning. Rust gold and quiet crimson. Leaves whisper as they fall. Brushing the windows like parchment. Inside, Eldric stands by the open shutters. Letting the cool air touch his hands. There's a knock at the door. Soft. Hesitant. Eldric opens it. And finds a young woman on the step. Her cloak damp with morning dew. A satchel slung over her shoulder. She smiles nervously. I heard you trade stories, for glass. He nods. Steps aside. And gestures toward the workbench. She enters slowly. Gazing around at the shelves. At the light-filled orbs. The soft coils of colored glass like frozen ribbons. She places her satchel on the bench. And opens it with care. Inside. A book. Worn, hand-bound. With pages filled in delicate script. It's my mother's journal, she whispers. She was a healer, she kept notes on dreams. I never knew her. But I've read this, all my life. She turns a page. Points to a line. It reads. Light, when shaped with breath, carries more than warmth. It carries memory. It carries peace. Eldric reads it silently. Then nods. I'll make something for her, he says softly. Something to keep the quiet. He turns toward the fire. Stirs the coals. The flames awaken. Not fast. But slow and deep. As if remembering their purpose. The girl watches. As Eldric selects a pale sliver of blue glass. And places it into the fire. He does not speak. Only breathes. Shapes. Listens. A gesture of thanks. Not loud. But full. That night, Eldric rests beside the hearth. A new orb on the windowsill. Lit from within by a flickering beeswax flame. Outside, the wind carries the scent of apples. And the trees rustle like lullabies. The stars are beginning to appear again. Not hurried. Just arriving. One by one. He sips warm cider. Watches the glow. And smiles. He has no heirs. No sign. No legacy carved in stone. But his light. His soft, flickering light. Has traveled. Into nurseries. Into towers. Into quiet cottages and wandering hearts. He shapes stillness. For those who cannot find their own. And his gift. Is peace. Not loud. Not grand. But lasting. And now, dear listener. You, too, carry a piece of that stillness. You have wandered through Windmere Hollow. Heard the fire's sigh. Seen the breath of memory caught in glass. You have listened. To a man who shapes silence. And he has listened to you. So let the quiet take you now. Let it wrap you. Like warm linen. Soft and whole. There is no need to return. Not just yet. Stay in this hush. Let it cradle you. And if you dream tonight, perhaps you'll see a glow. Soft and blue. At the edge of the woods. And know. Someone is watching over the light. While you sleep.